Welcome back to the session. So let's resume the program with our next session. The next program is on smart manufacturing in MSMEs.
In fact, the topic is smart manufacturing in SMEs. It is a technology-driven approach to monitor production process. The object of smart manufacturing is in improving manufacturing process by use of digital. It is to enable efficiency in production and increase the productivity. By adapting smart manufacturing principle, MSME can improve production quality and productivity and cost cutting, reducing the scrap. So by and large, this Industry 4.0 is a sort of giant-like thing which can come to the rescue of any industry, small-scale industries, with which there will be enhancement of production, productivity, process, and also reduction in scrap and whatnot. So embracing or getting to this, Industry 4.0 will enhance all-round improvement in any industry. With these few words, I am great pleasure in requesting the speaker of the evening to participate and give their views. Can we start with whom? We'll start.
Thank you. Glad to be here and privileged to be here. Looks like ESG is getting a go-ahead out of smart manufacturing, I guess, right? Today's session. Okay. So based on what based on the previous sessions, I do understand that ESG as a broad term is something that most of you are have a good understanding about. Probably I'll just give you a brief introduction to what ESG is and then dwell into why is it very relevant for MSMEs. It was briefly touched upon in the previous sessions. Then I'll give you the broad approach that we generally tend to take to integrate ESG as part of the business process for MSMEs, given obviously the constraints that they have as part of the resources, right? So ESG, as you are aware, right, it's the acronym for Environmental, Social and Governance. But where it basically generated from is this concept of triple bottom line, right? So which basically is, or the three P's as you may think about it, right? So what PSG has basically tried to do is push companies from a pure profit mode to start to look about people and planet as well. So what I mean by saying people is that it's not just pure play shareholders, which has predominantly been the focus area for a while now. It's the largest stakeholders that companies need to engage with, right? So when I say stakeholders, it's basically the entire set of people that a particular company engages with on an ongoing basis, be it their suppliers, their customers, even their employees, right? So you need to take into consideration all these employees, the customers and the suppliers that you engage with on an ongoing basis while you're trying to grow the company. The next aspect is the planet, obviously, which is the environmental side of things. All companies require natural capital to grow, right? Be it the water that you take from the ground or the emission that you pollute as part of the overall business process that you do. You need to ensure that it's being done in a sustainable way so that the natural capital is something that can deplete, right, if you go beyond a certain point of using it, right? So it needs to ensure that you need to take into consideration these aspects as well. So in short, ESG is nothing but conducting business responsibly while ensuring that you take alongside with you the people and the planet when you're trying to grow the business. Coming into the relevance of ESG, right, it's the buzzword probably been in the news for the last few months and even years, right? Why is it very relevant for MSMEs? I'll probably think about it being relevant from three broad factors, right? One, regulation. Regulations are evolving from an ESG perspective, both in the domestic and the international markets. So where are these regulations coming from? As part of the broad commitment that each of these countries have given, right? Basically, they want to contain the temperature increase to 1.5 degrees by 2100. Every country has set a net zero target. So for instance, India's said that they're going to achieve net zero by 2070. For India to achieve net zero by 2070, all sectors, all companies that are operating in India have to start to reduce their emissions, right? So that's the process where it all began. To kind of bring the process into practice, what basically happened is there are a lot of regulations that are coming up. For instance, the BRSR is a regulation that's actually come out, which actually mandates the large companies to start to disclose about their sustainable practices. You may ask, it's large companies, how is it going to impact an MSME? Well, it's likely to have a cascading effect, right? If you look at BRSR, it's built on the 9 principles of responsible business conduct, right? So one such principle basically ensures that you ensure your value chain also goes along with you when you're trying to build a sustainable business. So as part of this, all the companies which cater to these large corporates have to start disclosing on sustainability practices and probably even inculcate some of the sustainable practices which these large companies want MSMEs to start to integrate. For exporters, predominantly EU-based exporters, is going to be far-fetched. For instance, there are a lot of strict regulations that are coming out in the market. For instance, there's a regulation called as the CSDDD, the Corporate Sustainable Due Diligence Directive, that is coming out in early 2024, which mandates all EU-based companies to monitor and regulate and conduct due diligence across the environmental and social aspects of their entire value chain. So if you are an exporter exporting to EU, then you will obviously have to ensure that you align with the sustainable practices that the parent company that you're lending out to basically need to align with, right? So there are various E&S considerations which these companies will start to integrate as part of their supplier code of conduct, and also all of the contracts that as a supplier you'll need to sign. You'll need to ensure that you align with these aspects. The second aspect, we did have this discussion, right? The access to capital. So there was a vibrant discussion which we had between equity versus debt. Be it equity or debt, ESG is getting entrenched in both. So as investors, people are starting to look for sustainable companies. They're starting to look for sustainable business models when they're trying to invest from an equity perspective. And banks or all the financial institutions that many of these MSMEs reach out to as part of the loans have started to consider E&S risk as part of their lending process and decision-making process. In fact, it's not just their decision. RBI is actually starting to think about mandating regulations to basically push E&S considerations as part of the credit decisioning process that banks generally tend to do. And there have been consultations papers that have been passed out in the recent phase, right, where banks will need to start to think about integrating E&S risk. So the third aspect why it's important for MSMEs is obviously the long-term resilience, right? So sustainability comes with its own set of benefits, right? So you have a sustainable product, you're going to have a reputation in the market, right? And also there is this ongoing climate change impact that's happening. So you build a resilience business to ensure that all of this impact gets integrated in your business strategy and you future-proof your business to most of these impacts, right? So for instance, flooding is something that's starting to happen across India. So is it something that you're actually considering as part of your business operation when you're trying to think about your financials, when you're trying to think about a business continuity process if you have? So these are some of the aspects that you need to start to think about when you're trying to integrate ESG within your overall business strategy. I'll probably pass on to the next speaker to share their valuable thoughts on smart manufacturing.
Thank you very much, Mr. Vignesh. It's a good presentation. Ladies and gentlemen, we have with us the chairman of the session online. Okay. I think it will take some time for her to join here. In the meanwhile, I would request Mr. Srinivas to come online. Thank you. Yeah, we are able to listen to you.
Right. Thank you. Fellow. Good afternoon to fellow panelists, and I don't see the audience, but good afternoon to audience as well. If you have to talk about smart manufacturing, thank you. If you have to talk about smart manufacturing now, digital transformation 2.0 has kicked in the last 2-3 years, and manufacturing industries have been slow to adopt to digital transformation, as opposed to, for example, automotive industries or pharma industries, which mandate digital transformation adoption. So they've been quick to adopt, whereas manufacturing companies have adopted process and systems far better than digital transformation. Having said that, if we have to contribute a significant portion of Indian economy from the manufacturing sector, which is currently at 16%, and we have to go at 21% as envisaged by the government of India and others, we need to really adopt the technology in terms of how we transform our businesses, how we transform our manufacturing. Having said that, MSME sector, obviously the adoption will be much slower because of a lot of other challenges that creep in. But this digital transformation that we are talking about can be adopted by small industries and medium and obviously large scale industries. The tiny industry, the micro industries will be difficult, but the baby steps have to start at some point of time. When you talk about digital transformation 2.0, the obvious benefits that we can think of is, one is in terms of decision making. Manufacturers who have implemented digital transformation strategy get to enjoy efficient data handling, data processing, good analytics, and advanced decision making, which is all required for the companies to sell in the e-commerce segments, or perhaps to harness the ERP so that they streamline the processes, or to their own customers as well. When I talk about digital transformation, another benefit that comes to me is the production efficiency. It is totally linked to technical innovations that we do in our company and the processes efficiency we bring in. And also with the price of land going up, the price of the building going up, the use of floor space also can be optimized and efficiently done with digital transformation. Apart from that, we also have a 360-degree view of our operations, our processes, our systems, our inventory, our WIP. We'll probably have complete better control, having a 360-degree overview of all this, provided we implement these technologies of digital transformation. It'll come down to what technologies we need to implement. In terms of overall optimized costs, obviously digital transformation is going to be investment heavy in the beginning, but when you look at operational costs over a period of time, it will offset. And then we'll have more time in terms of focus on the customer. Our quality of products will be enhanced, so obviously our customers will get a better quality product from us. And then finally, the most important one is the enhanced safety that is provided on the shop floor to all the workmen that are working on our shop floor. These are a few benefits that come to my mind immediately. But when you come and look at challenges, there are plenty of challenges that we need to look at. It's not very easy to adopt digital transformation. The first question that comes to our mind is, should we adopt all the technology at once, or should we do it in bits and pieces? There is no one mantra that can suit everybody. We need to figure out what is the DNA of the organization, how much of it can be consumed by our people, how much of change management can the top management people can breed. So all those things have to be considered, and then only we need to go in for digital transformation. Challenges, first one is this digital transformation or adoption should be from top down. It has to come from the management level, MD level downwards. It cannot be bottom up. So this is something that needs to be understood. So obviously the top management has to be involved in day-to-day affairs to ensure proper implementation of the digital transformation. And we need to realign the complete IT department, because no technical transformation is possible without proper tuning of the IT-related processes, the IT department structure, the technology stack, all that needs to be aligned. So obviously we need to take the IT department into confidence. We require to bring in change management by having a personal support. That means we need to bring in the change process, workflows, schedules, responsibilities very clearly defined. And we need to obviously upskill and reskill our employees so that adoption becomes easier. And most important one is the budget limitation. Digital transformations can cost from a few lakh of rupees to a few crores to a few hundreds of crores. So we need to exactly figure out how much of it can be really useful for us, and what are the steps that we need to do for next few years. Keep our budget in mind and select a partner who would implement this properly. And then we have to evangelize the digital transformation benefits to our consumer or a customer, so that at least it pays off in a period of 5 to 8 years time. The key technologies that I can quickly think of is for our customers, we can bring in our machines IoT, which will give you predictive maintenance. All of us do curative, that is corrective maintenance. We do preventive maintenance, but we can bring in predictive maintenance through IoT by incorporating IoT in our products and also on our machines and systems. In our production processes, we can integrate IoT, and in terms of asset management, in terms of personal management, all that IoT can be harnessed. And then for manufacturers who are involved in engineering manufacturers, we can actually put in robotic welding. A lot of companies, even small companies with turnovers as less as 30 crores, 20 crores have gone in for robotic welding. Those have come down, the price of robotic welding has come down to less than 30 lakhs, 40 lakhs, but then you have consistency in terms of quality. Then of course we have this AR and VR, which the price of these have also come down dramatically down. We can harness them in terms of simulation, in terms of R&D, or in terms of marketing. And this transformation strategy has to start off as a whole. We need to look at optimization of process and operations. We need to look at implementation of all this in a digital twin manner so that we keep a tab on what's happening. We harness the customer data so that we know what exactly to be used to which customer. And then, of course, for doing all this, we need to think very unconventionally. And overall, finally, we need to retrain, upskill, and reskill our personnel. But having said that, digital transformation is no longer a buzzword. If manufacturing sector has to survive, if our companies have to survive, but we have to keep growing, what is important is we need to harness digital transformation. We need to have a white paper on how many years would be taking to transform our processes from X to Y. It could be a few years, it could be a 7-year period or 10-year period, but we need to start our baby steps right now. On that note, I thank you and thank Grant Thornton for giving me the opportunity. Thank you, sir. Over to you.
Thank you, Mr. Srinivas. It's a good presentation. Ladies and gentlemen, we are running short of time. I think we need to stretch another 10 minutes. And I hope it should be all right. We have to make it. Madam Madhupati, chairperson of the session, I will request your presentation, please, and take over.
Good afternoon, everybody. So now we are going to discuss about smart manufacturing in MSMEs. So the panel, I joined just now. I just want to know from the panel whether we have started the discussion or I should go first.
We already started the discussion, ma'am, and two have already completed their topic.
Okay, okay, fine. So from my side, I would like to pinpoint certain aspects of this smart manufacturing. In fact, smart manufacturing has been catching up in India for the last 1 year or so. And we could see almost about 46 companies, big companies have come forward and they have set up their smart manufacturing units. But coming to the MSMEs, this is where our focus is regarding the Industry 4.0 and the smart manufacturing. We know that L&T has pioneered in smart manufacturing. They have various plants here in Coimbatore also. They are doing their manufacturing activities. Apart from places in North, we have Reliance, we have we have Cadbury plant in Andhra Pradesh also, and we have one smart factory has also come up in Bangalore. So we could see that so many activities is going on, and this Industry 4.0 development is very fast and catching up. And I'm on a positive note, I should say that even our MSMEs have started to catch up in this particular area. And I could see that particularly in Madurai, I could see that 3D printing industry has been digitized, and digital technology is ruling the roost at present in this particular industry. And when I had personally visited one of the plants in Shivagasi, where I could see that the offset printing is being done through this automation. And they are thriving very well, and the orders are pouring in. And I was happy to see that even our MSMEs could envision and take it further in this particular area. Now, while talking about smart manufacturing, we should not discount the fact that this should also be in cognizance with the green technology. Many times we start to talk about smart manufacturing and increasing our production and other things, but green technology should have a place, and we are giving a lot of impetus to that also. We have to harness this area of green technology, because we could see that the prices are skyrocketing as far as the raw materials are concerned. The necessary inputs that are needed are also becoming scarce. So my personal view is that while we go for the smart manufacturing, and we also look for smart factories, we should also give importance to green technology. Now, we know that many of the institutions and many colleges have also come up with their syllabus, and they are having this additive technology, and hybrid manufacturing has one of the one of the subjects in their curriculum. So the youngsters who are coming up, the engineering graduates as well as the diploma holders who are coming out, freshers, they will be I think they will all be updated with the technology, updated with the issues in using smart manufacturing and the advantages in this particular sector. So, having said that, all over India, throughout India, there is a what to say? There is knowledge about the smart manufacturing, but at the same time, we could also see that we as MSMEs have to raise up to the occasion and see that we are incorporating some of the good practices as far as this technology is concerned. And I hope the panel which has discussed, I was not listening to them. I'm sorry, I joined a little late. The panel would have discussed about it threadbare, and they would have suggested the means and ways to the MSMEs to adopt technologies as much as possible. I mean, one more thing which I want to emphasize here is on the job training. We have been speaking about skilling from the beginning, from morning. So on the job training for the employees who are with the MSMEs, that has to be stressed, and the focus should be on that. So with this, I think I have explained whatever that I can about smart manufacturing. It's over to the panel now.
Thank you, Madam Madhumati. We are running behind the time, so probably we'll be stretching this session. Now I would request Sanket Deshpande to give his presentation. Madam, in the meanwhile, hello, are you able to listen to me, ma?
Yes, yes, yes.
In the meanwhile, there can be some questions. Kindly respond to it, ma. I would request audience to put their questions now to the madam.
Yeah.
Jere, be louder.
Madam, this is regarding clusterization, which I think is being touted as sort of panacea to the introduction and implementation of Industry 4.0 and even smart manufacturing for the matter. Madam, how much of clusterization can help? And how many of these MSMEs clusterization will be able to cover? Whether it is sufficient to take India to a different level, industrially and economically, or whatever it is. Then secondly, well, smart manufacturing, as far as I know, whatever I study and whatever is being said, almost does away with the human intervention. Is it possible in India, particularly, the country has account for about 1.4 billion people? Is it not better to come up with a model where, sort of, at least in a collaborative model, which will help also in job creation and rather prevent people from becoming jobless? That's all.
Wonderful questions. First, let me take up the clusterization issue. Clusterization, yes, it's a big challenge that is before us. The cohesiveness of a cluster is what is most important. And the ideas and the knowledge the cluster has in that they exchange between them should be towards a particular goal, and they should be very clear about what they want and where they want to go. That is the basis for a cluster, the success of a cluster indeed. And as SIDCO has been into this for the past, I would want to give the examples that I have seen in the past 1 year, being the managing director of SIDCO. In the past 1 year, we could see that there had been several clusters that have been formed. Some of them are really doing very well. Some of them are in the nascent stages. Yes, they need to be given some hand holding, but this is projected as a panacea for the particular problem of industry for the development of industry 4.0. But having said that, we should also keep in mind that while we are doing clusterization, what is most important is the common goal, one. The second thing is continuous hand holding till they become independent and confident about their functioning. And clusterization will only help in fighting against the big conglomerates. So it is the consortium against versus the conglomerates. That is what I look at it. This is regarding clusterization. As far as smart manufacturing is concerned, as you said, the huge population that India is having could be a challenge for smart manufacturing. But look at China. China's industry, that is construction industry, has completely transformed. They construct their whole building, whatever they want in some other place, and they assemble in one place. But you don't see there any joblessness or unemployment. Everybody has something to do. So we have to train our population to see that they fit into the new setup or the new circumstances. And that can be done. That can be done very easily. You could see that the digitization of currency and the use of mobile phones, the Paytm that they use, or Phone Pay or the GPay, that has taken the Indians so quickly. And you can see even a rural old man in the rural area or an old woman in the rural area, they are now into this digital currency system. So I find, I'm in a positive note, I find that definitely smart manufacturing is not going to be it is not going to make our population unemployable or without employment. Unemployment is prevalent, but if we give proper skilling and proper training, and if we scale up the methodologies, definitely this will be going to be a turning point in Indian economy as well as Indian enterprising industries. Thank you.
Thank you, madam. Ladies and gentlemen, for want of time, let's proceed with the next speaker. Madam?
I'm very much here. I will be listening.
Anything more you would like to tell, madam?
No, I would like to listen to you.
I'm very sorry. The time given is so short for the 4 or 5 speakers. So that's why little confusion here. And anyway, I'm happy that you have responded the question to the audience here. Thank you, madam.
Yeah.
And at the end, anyway, you will be here. So at the end, again, you can conclude, madam.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, so very good afternoon, one and all. So my name is Sanket Deshpande, manager with Grant Thornton Bharat. So first of all, thanking Andhra Chamber of Commerce for providing this opportunity to speak a bit on to say, smart manufacturing. So to be very frank with you, there is nothing much left to speak because Mr. Srinivas and Madam Madhumati has covered it the most. So I would like to add one perspective onto smart manufacturing, which may probably clarify the question more, what the question just he asked, right? So the second part of the question, that whether considering India being such a populated country, smart manufacturing majorly focuses on the entire automated manufacturing. Okay, so is it a good to have a plan for involving people model? Was his question, was probably what I understood, right? So just to give a very brief onto a smart manufacturing. When I say smart manufacturing emphasizes on three things mainly. One is smart people, second is smart processes, and third one is smart technology. Okay, so smart manufacturing is not just smart technology. So it is smart people, smart processes, and smart technology. So who are smart people? That all of us know, the people with good, say, expertise, skills, analytical, okay, problem solving, say, kind of capabilities, the people who use their right and left mind in a equal, say, kind of the thing, okay. So we call them as the smart people. Now, how organizations or how MSMEs for that matter have the smart people is by either hiring or doing through a lot of L&D interventions, wherein we will be training our own employees onto the technical as well as the, say, innovative skills. Okay, so that's the way in which we develop smart people. But the question is, just having smart people, will that suffice the requirement? Probably no. For smart people to take smart decisions, okay, they require a standardized and well-defined workflows, processes, which probably gives us a clarity onto the standard way of working and helps us in identifying the opportunities of improvement, gaps into the processes, which the organizations need to focus on bridging up. So from where do we get it? By having a well-defined processes. Now, how organizations develop well-defined processes is by implementing various business excellence practices, like your EFQM. I hope probably you heard about EFQM, European Foundation for Quality Management, one of the business excellence framework, which focuses, which basically gives you a clarity about three things for any of the organization, that what should be the direction of the organization, wherein the organization need to focus. Second is the execution. Okay, once we have set up the goals, how do we execute it? And then the third is the results. So when we are talking about results, in the results, we mainly focus on to the perceptual results, that how the stakeholders perceive our, say, kind of a performance. So this is about the processes. So by setting up or by implementing business excellence practices, what we are trying to do is we are trying to identify what exactly do we want to digitalize. Okay, so today we heard a lot about, say, artificial intelligence, okay, digitalization, Internet of Things, okay, and lot of stuff from morning. But the question is, what exactly has to go as artificial intelligence? What exactly has to go for digitalization? Not all the processes, not all the steps can be done. Okay, so still there is a human intervention that is required, wherein probably reasoning part, okay, is where AI is still not that expert, what, at least at this point of time, right? So this smart processes, okay, develop that requirement where the automation has to be done, okay, or where we need to implement this AI, right? So then to support for that implementation of the smart technology, we leverage onto the tools like artificial intelligence, okay, 3D printing, okay, so cloud computing, big data analysis, blockchains, okay. So what all we heard from the morning. So I'm not going to emphasize much on that, right? So all those technologies we can adopt. Now, for an MSME, by adopting these three, that is the having smart people and then having smart processes and smart technology, together form a smart manufacturing practice, which will help MSMEs to improve in terms of PQCDSME. Probably it stands for productivity, quality, cost, safety, delivery, morale, and environment. Okay, so all these areas get improved, and then it increases the visibility it gives us a lot of visibility, transparency into the organizations, and it gives you a competitive edge into the business area, wherein adopting smart manufacturing techniques, you lead the show and you may have the more and more amount of business which will help you to build upon your bottom line and top line, right? So these are some of the key benefits what we try to see by adopting smart manufacturing techniques in the MSME, right? So with this small thought, I would like to close my discussion over here, and then would like to hand over to, I think, Vadivelu. Yes, we'll be talking on to a cyber security part of it. Yeah.
Thank you, Sankat. I will request Vadivelan to take 3 to 4 minutes for his session, and I think you will understand that. And after that, I will request Chairman to take over. Thank you.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Thank you. I was doing a mic check. Okay. So thanks for the opportunity to speak over here. So initially when I was told you need to speak about 4.0, I was thinking about Rajinikanth's movie. Okay. So later I realized, okay, it is about the smart industry part. So my fellow speakers, they didn't leave any topics for me to speak over here. Actually, almost every technology, every terminology has been spoken here, I guess, right? Okay. So let's come back to the smart industry. Now, you know, with the smart industry, we are moving to the next level where we are moving from the automation to next digitalization. We are talking about AI, ML, and we are going to talk about the cyber physical systems. Okay, mostly it will be a human-machine interaction, right? So we are talking about more on this. Like with 5G rollout and artificial intelligence, we are actually like going in a different level where the enormous data will be created, like to the sensors. And again, like cloud also will come in here. Which means we are talking about data visualization, data analytics also is required here. Like we are talking about smart factories, intelligent manufacturing, then AML in that, and digital twins. All the terminology has been explained earlier, right? But now actually I just want to give an example. Okay, so there are many use cases which is beneficial for the people working on the smart industries part. Like there are some dangerous work scenarios. Now think about this, instead of working on the dangerous work scenario, you are simulating the environment, you are doing all the activities there, then okay, you are implementing that. This is one actually benefit I'm seeing that. Second thing is creating a digital reflection of any physical object. Instead of actually you're going for the manufacturing directly, you can do all this thing in the simulation, do test cases, and you see like whether it is working fine, how you can improve all this. And AI is also like going to benefit you on this. Once that is done, then okay, you go for the manufacture of the product. So that means it reduces the cost as well. Okay, now we are talking about data privacy of people, right? Maybe in the future, or maybe in the version 5.0, we will be talking about machine-to-machine interaction. That time we may have to like create a data privacy law for the machines also. Okay, so before I conclude, I would just say, okay, we should be able to embrace any technology which is coming in, and we should be you should be able to use it at the maximum level possible. Okay, on the maybe on the good side actually of it. Okay, you know that okay, we have the good AI and bad AI also, right? So when you talk about good AI, we should be able to use it in a positive way, and we should leverage those technologies to help the smart industries going to the next level in the future. Okay, thank you so much for giving this opportunity. So I'm just mindful of time. Okay, so thank you so much again.
You could able to cooperate considering the time constraint. Madam Chairperson, I would request you to take over now. Madam?
And now that was very interesting to hear from both of them. In fact, I would only say that this smart manufacturing or this AI or anything is nothing new to us at all. First thing that we MSME should understand that this is nothing new to us. We have already taken on cloud computing is there. This digitization has slowly crept into most of the industries, and in fact, what we are doing now and what we are in our everyday life, what we are seeing, realizing, practicing is almost technology driven. So people should not, particularly the small, medium enterprises, the entrepreneurs there, over there, should not feel that this is something Greek and Latin and this is something which is new to them. We are working, all of us have a great exposure to it. Only thing is, we have to put this to good use and we should see that it is it will help us elevate in our production as well as our development. This is what I would like to mention here at the outset. Thank you.
Thank you, Chairperson. Thank you. I thank all the speakers for their presentation. It's very useful and productive. Thank you very much.
Thank you.